Write it, Joe will write it.
Welcome to the Cowboys Uncovered. Hey, we're back. But, man, I don't know if the Cowboys can come back from that last game. But we got a bye week, and we got to talk about it. So appreciate y'all tapping back in with us. And you can find me at Dynasty F Key, Joe at Joe Garcia 73, and Dave at Cowboys Fan David. And, man, we got a lot to talk about. No game previews. We got the bye week. But, man, this is pretty disappointing, man. Brutal.
Cowboys lose to the Lions 47-9. Third straight regular season loss at home. Fourth straight overall. Just the worst loss since 1998 that the Cowboys have had at home. So let's have a little group therapy chat, guys.
I see Dave. Dead people.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's pretty brutal. Watch Lombardi said it best, man. We got smacked by a double sweep reverse flicker, and the answer was a shotgun run with Zeke. Like, yeah, we deserve this. Like, last game we thought we had a run game. We thought we cracked the no run game code. We thought we cracked the stop the run game code, and it's literally the exact same opposite, right back to what we were looking at the week before. Like, I just don't get it, man. Like, the injuries are there, so we go into the matchup. We got to have that at least built in. But that was an embarrassing loss. The team is using linemen as quarterbacks, and they're doing all these trick plays on us. Like, at a certain point, it's not just that this game we're injured. In the offseason, we didn't feel like we were equipped by the staff, right? Like, we were begging for more, trades or draft. Running back that you can trust, give us some stuff, because to me, I think, guys, it's not just about the X's and O's. Like, we're going to talk about catches. I mean, the coaches, right? But it's not just X's and O's. It's also the players and Joes, right? So, like, we got to have better players in here to be able to actually compete. This is not a Super Bowl championship team right now, and I think we are in that soft rebuild.
Yeah, Cowboys Nation, this shot goes to you. This is a shot of the week because we need it. Cowboys fans need it. One for me, one for you. I don't know. So take it and try to enjoy the bye week.
Man, I do want to shout out. Nobody came in, sparked up conversation with me while I was in Fredericksburg, but I was serious with the offer. Actually, you know what? I did talk to some hillbilly dude in a bar, and his general consensus was that we weren't very good. I had to agree with him.
Yeah. I want to get back to a little bit of what Alex was talking about, not being equipped for the year, for a real run. What does all in look like? Well, also happy 82nd birthday to Jerry Jones. How do you like them apples? Maybe this rotation around the sun will finally yield you the wisdom to finally sell the team. And right after the sunset, we'd all be fine with that. Like, you deserve it. This team is the most valuable franchise in the world. You're going to make billions upon billions. I don't know, guys. Like, it all starts with the big man on top. And what are y'all's thoughts?
Well, I just got to ask you guys, what's the better nickname for Jerry Jones? Is it the Crypt Keeper or is it Old Kermit? I'm liking it's Crypt Keeper for a long time, but now I'm liking Old Kermit. Just trying to give us some sad news about something.
Oh, man.
Maybe sing a song about it. Might make you feel better.
Yeah. Everyone's discombobulated, I can tell.
Kind of looks like Palpatine in some ways.
Palpatine.
Star Wars fans, yeah.
Well, I mean, I would do the same thing if I were him. I would medal. I'd be right in the middle of everything.
I
earned it.
Fun, man.
I mean, it sucks that he's already won 3 rings, and so he can't like he I don't know. It just feels like he's got his rings a long time ago. He wants more, sure, but like I want somebody up there that hasn't won anything, that's hungry for something. Right now, he just prospers even when we win or lose, and it's tough to see it. We can talk a little bit more about the coaching, but from the top down, I think there's just no hunger there. There's no malicious attitude and like drive. It's a lot of compliance.
Well, I'll get this one out of the way because we don't really need to use this chart that much. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hearing a lot of the stuff in the media right now about the coaching situation. I'm gonna let y'all get y'all's thing off first before I say what I think about it. But in McCarthy's generally doing well on this chart, on the upper left here, teams that go for it. This is more just like mentality aggressiveness.
This is also the Cowboys playing from behind and having to go for it. A little bit of that too.
Yeah. A little bit of that. You would argue the Eagles. I mean, having us both there, just is it a good sign or a bad sign? I mean, the Eagles look awful this year too. But right there are the Lions, and the 49ers are right there. So it's. I wanted this included because I wanted to spark some more discussion about McCarthy without going right for his throat, because the guy is coaching for his job right now. You have to imagine he's trying to not get fired right now. Oh, this was good though.
It's a little premature, but
yeah. If you guys aren't familiar with LinkedIn, oh my goodness,
damn, dude. That's good stuff. So all that being said about this go rate being a positive, the W's are just not there enough. So, I mean, I think it's easy to see. I wanted to give him a small compliment and say, hey, this is the kind of stuff that when he retired for a year or was forced to retire, this is the kind of stuff he probably learned and decided to incorporate into his game. I don't know how it looked when he was calling plays last before the Cowboys, but this is the kind of stuff that he was trying to bring to the franchise. Unfortunately, he hasn't brought that mentality to it, and I think Jerry Jones has something to do with that. But I don't think it's an impossible fix. I've done some studying, gentlemen. I've looked around the league a little bit. There are some juicy coaching candidates out there that we can talk about here shortly. There's a couple good articles put out some top candidates.
Yeah, I definitely we want to get in that, but we gotta unfortunately talk about what happened on the field. So
I can pull up
let's pull up them stats
real quick. Shout out to Theo Grimminger. Let's fucking go, and shout out to Nightfall Rubicon. Appreciate you guys checking in with us. All right, y'all. Hit the like button. Appreciate everybody for checking us out. And I mean, I don't know whether. Let me just start with Dak.
Oof.
All right.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm not putting it all on Dak, right? In my opinion, it's a combination of Dak and the coaching, but he's playing from behind, doing what he got to do. Defense is putting him in the bind because we're just not able to stop anybody, man.
Offensive line not playing as well as they should. Zach Martin, hell, he got a holding call. Like, that's how you know it's bad.
You know what we haven't really talked about is, the interceptions. It's starting to look like 2 years ago when and everybody knew what play we were going to call. Like that was the whole that was the narrative, was that they were calling out the plays right before we were going to do them. Everybody knew exactly what we were going to do. It doesn't really look like that now. It just looks like we're not executing anything. So like if it's something that they know we're going to run, then we should know we're going to run it. We should do it fairly competently. It sucks to see who's supposed to be some good set of players just crumble under this scheme.
Yeah. Cooper Rush is efficient, but let's
not tell them apart.
Let's go to the running game. Real quick. Oh yeah. Okay. Run. Yeah, we can do run game.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a quick blip because there's not much.
Yeah. So guys, that was what I started with, right? Last week we're crushing it with Rico Dowdle. 5 attempts. That doesn't even make sense in this bad of an ass whooping. 5 attempts. What is going on? And Zeke has 8. I don't even care that Zeke has more, but it's like, come on, like what is going on here?
They gave him a lot of looks in the passing game too. If you add those up, he's over 10 targets or touches. But
remember, that was garbage time.
A lot. I mean, the whole game was garbage time, bro.
Are you guys actually watched all the garbage time? I gotta say, I did not.
No.
Okay, me and Alex were just talking about this. What was the last play you remember, Alex?
No, really, right at the end of the game, because I did watch
Okay.
through the end of the game because I was potentially about to trade for Rico Dowdle in the league, and he did nothing. He had 2 catches, or 2 carries, through the first 3 quarters, and then he pretty much got everything in the final quarter. They were not using him at all. It was, we heard reports that Zeke was complaining that he wasn't getting touches the previous week, but really, you're going to do that to the detriment of this. And I get it that the game kind of got away from them, so they were passing anyway. But you can just see with the raw numbers, they were trying to just get Zeke more prioritized. Because if you look at last week, it's totally flipped.
Zeke looked really slow. I mean, he's like running in mud and sand. However
The
you want
offensive
to.
line looks pretty bad too. They had some bad plays. You saw Zach Martin get the holding call, but also Zach Martin got beat a couple times. That's unfortunate to see.
He's father time showing up a little bit, you know.
And I can remember seeing him get beat on a play. I mean, the other team has a great defensive line, right? So it's not as big of a deal. Every once in a while, I see him get beat, but I saw him get beat, and the look on his face was like, "Oops!" Like, oh, like it was just not a good look. It's just sad to see his career starting to take a turn. But he's great.
Yeah. While we're on sort of D line versus O line, let's just give a little shout out to Aiden Hutchinson. Obviously that's not something you like to see. It doesn't matter what's happening. Like the game was out of hand pretty much already at that point, so that was very concerning, and you never like to see that. So prayers.
It was a freak accident.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
His own teammate.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame anybody or anything like that. Maybe he shouldn't have been in the game or something like that. It was such a freak injury. It's not the kind of thing it wasn't a wear and tear type injury. It just happens out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was a Dak sack, and as he was bringing him down, so brutal.
I heard Rex Ryan say that was probably the Super Bowl for the Lions. Like they had that type of team, and that's basically your best player. The heart of the defense, the heart of the team, really. So anyway,
his 3rd year, but we can switch to our defense off of that, and we knew we were going to be without Kendricks this game. He had been our leading tackler for most games until last week, but then
we got a new leader.
Damone Clark, and we were wondering where Overshown would be. He, not too far down that list, but
I mean, this is not who we expected to see.
No interceptions
in a defensive breakdown. We didn't expect it to look like this as far as the names at the top. But that's what happens when we lose different. a lot of impact players. Now these are guys that, for the most part, we knew would be contributors.
Sure.
Amari, I believe was the guy's first name. The last name is pretty hard to pronounce. This guy is like our 5th or 6th corner. He put in some work today. A lot of these guys put in work that they don't normally do. So, you got your ass kicked, though. I was trying to lead that with, listen, these guys know the scheme. These guys at the top of this list, they know the scheme. But, do they? What is Zimmer's...
let's talk about the scheme and the coach behind that scheme. That guy should be in the hot seat, too, Zimmer.
From what I remember, he likes to have 4 down linemen. He likes to play
40 burger
in zone, if I remember right. But you can't even tell what they're playing when players are running wide open on routes. One of the stats I saw was that there were 0 small window throws, whatever they call those stats. That Goff had 0 of those, and Lamar Jackson had 0 of those against us. They're just out scheming us. So that was a stat that I think we were the only team in the league that had done it twice. And they were both home games. Like what are they preparing these guys to do?
Why do we keep picking up coaches that have been retired? I mean, let's go after Belichick, sure, maybe, but Zimmer has been on the sidelines for a minute.
Yeah, I like Belichick, but he wouldn't be my first choice.
Ben Johnson. I like that.
It's hard to sit here and sing his praises after he kicked our ass so hard.
No, I will sing those praises because I saw a defensive line.
Yeah, we saw the proof.
I just don't know that we had the type of team that he would. We don't have 2 badass running backs. We don't have a great offensive line, so I don't know. He's going to have to come and do something different here. So I did have some guys I was looking at. I like the guys out of the McVay coaching tree. I was looking at this article from the 33rd which is a website that writes this kind of stuff. This article came out right before the season started. Check this out. So here's what I like. I like the Bucs offense right now. I like the fact that they got Baker up to speed extremely fast last year or in 2022. And this is the guy who was there as the quarterback's coach. He's now the OC there. They seem to be able to make a lot more with less than what we're doing. So I like him. He came from the Rams, so he's a McVay disciple who's now coordinating the Bucs. I think and he's under 40. That was a requirement for me too. So there's a guy, Aubrey Pleasant. This guy is a Rams assistant head coach and passing game coordinator. So this guy was a defender. I think I remember Aubrey Pleasant, the name. I don't remember who he played for, but right now he's the Rams assistant head coach. He's been called McVay's replacement in waiting. He's been a defensive guy, but they just made him the head coach, the assistant head coach to kind of get him more experience at the top line. I think this guy is primed to be a head coach somewhere. I'd love it to be at Dallas. And then lastly, I like Leonard Hankerson. This guy is a 49ers head coach, or 49ers wide receiver coach. Think about how good the receivers have been in San Francisco. So he's been with Shanahan for 4 years. So Kyle Shanahan, coaching tree guy. He's their wide receivers coach. Mm-hmm. He's under 40. He used to play. He should have the respect of the players from day one, and the coaching know-how from the Shanahan tree. Sorry, Alex, I was going off of the other list mostly. The one that you had up at the top was the kind of the older guys that were hanging around. But yeah, this list here, the 33rd team. Yeah, that was more of the more safe picks. I think that the under 40 part of the other article was interesting. And
you can stop at Kellen Moore though, right? Kellen Moore's on this list.
Also, you want to know who was on that 33rd? Dude, sorry to monopolize. The last thing on that 33rd article, I highly recommend people check it out. Alex Tanney is on this list. Do you guys remember Alex Tanney?
No.
Alex Tanney was a former Cowboys third stringer who was inactive every week, and I think it was a couple of years ago. But I don't know if you guys.
Passing game corner now.
That's not him. That's not him. I don't even know if they have a picture of Alex Tanney because that's the Titans.
Oh,
guy.
Yeah, that was the Titans.
Oh, okay.
They're him. Right. All right. Go up.
Oh, right here. Yep.
Yeah, that's him. That's Alex Tanney. He played for the Cowboys and went to the Giants. When I say played, I mean he was rostered by us. I don't think he actually saw the field in anything but preseason games back when those were a thing.
But those are the type of guys who just study the game like constantly because
this is a Kellen Moore. This is a Kellen Moore 2.0. And he that for better or worse, I don't know that the Giants offenses were ones I'd want to emulate, but whatever.
Moving on.
Yeah, man. So
some good guys out there is the point. There's a lot of them. You can turn over a lot of coordinator positions and look and see those guys that are going back to those good coaching trees. Certainly don't want to go after a Mike McCarthy disciple.
Can we just talk about who should get fired? Like, let's get real. Should it happen sooner than later? I worked for the team when we had a midseason firing. It has happened before. And Tony Romo was injured that year. So like we had injuries. It's happened. We've seen it. What do you guys think?
What do you think, Alex?
So we got Zimmer on a 1-year deal. I mean, there's just no reason to fire him at this point. We just gotta ride that out. McCarthy is also in the lame duck year, only on the final year of his deal. There's no reason to fire these guys. We just need to ride it out, and we're gonna get new coaching staff. It was almost determined before the season we were getting an entirely new coaching staff next season. No one was getting an extension. They ended up signing
short of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they signed the players. They left the door open on the coaching to see what happened there because we've gotten a full contract out of McCarthy to see if he can, bring what he learned in his time off, combined with all his years of knowledge. Let's see if he can revolutionize something. But
lots of corn dogs. Lots of corn dogs and hot dogs.
We haven't seen enough, and they're just going to want a new leader. That's usually what it comes down to is a new leader and maybe someone with some fresh ideas. I would love to get at least a couple of some of these offensive first coaches to take advantage of the two new assigned players on our team, Dak and CD. So Slowick, Bobby Slowick, I'm down with that. Ben Johnson, down with that. So at the end of the season, I'm totally excited to talk about who the new coaches are. I just don't think it's going to happen in season. Yeah. Jerry said it wasn't going to happen. And maybe there's another embarrassing loss. But remember, this is the second embarrassing loss. The Saints game too. So Jerry's
and it's
standing
at
firm
home, dude.
Yeah. So
I've never seen this happen before.
If you want a not so hot take, there's going to be another embarrassing loss. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Let's look at the schedule.
Well, here, let me throw my take in there, because here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to play the 49ers, and I think if it looks better than the Lions game, I think McCarthy stays. If he gets blown out again by the 49ers, there's nothing else left to see from McCarthy. I don't understand why. I think what you want to do is you want to elevate somebody like Al Harris or somebody like that and just see, like, hey, do we have who on this coaching staff can we retain by giving them a bone as being the interim head coach? And
if you're going to elevate Al Harris, then you got to get rid of Zimmer too, because that's just
I'm fine with that. Yeah. But I don't think Zimmer would require that. I think he would say, that's fine, young buck, you go ahead.
Here's our schedule.
I just don't think Zimmer's going to have a power play move to make. His fucking defense sucks ass. Sorry, excuse me.
That's okay. We're frustrating on this Monday afternoon, evening. It was a tough game to watch.
We're 20 minutes in. The adults are in the room.
Yeah. Niners, Falcons, and again at the beginning of the season we did our little run through. It's we're now 500. Okay, it's not over until you lose 9 games. Anything could happen. But yeah, I mean,
and the Commanders.
It's a tough slate. I always say we split with our own division, so give us half of those division games, and we beat the Panthers. We'll beat the Falcons, maybe. The only guaranteed win on there is the Panthers, to be honest. And the Giants.
That's not even a guarantee. They played
it's a guarantee.
Whoever they played pretty well.
I don't know why we can't take these Eagles games, but I mean, and the team has just played so bad. Like, just looking at that last week or a couple days ago, that's brutal. Or yesterday, was it yesterday? Feels like last season already. I've already moved on.
I've never seen an NFL team possibly that needed a bye week so badly. Like, not only the injuries, but just the straight heartbreak and like.
Who does it sound like we're getting back?
Yeah.
So did our cornerback actually end up coming back? Bland?
No,
I don't think so. No, he was not active.
To come back, so we're getting him back. That's huge. That's the biggest addition of the whole season.
Should get Bland. Probably Parsons. Probably Hendricks. Or Kendricks.
If they do come back right after the bike, awesome. That's earlier than I might have thought.
So I think McCarthy's getting this a little bit of a reload, a little bit of a fatigue break. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, if he can't look close against the 49ers after getting guys back, the 49ers not looking as sharp as they had, and having the bye week, I think that's enough. We don't need to see anymore. I'd rather see what Al Harris can do as a statesman of the team and see if he has the chops to be a real leader. But I don't have confidence that even really matters. So I'm going to let whoever comes in next year have whoever they want as staff. I'm not going to say you got to keep anybody or anything. That would be a Jerry Jones thing to do. We're going to get a Jerry Jones thing happen this offseason too. It
always comes back to Jerry. And that's why, like, I kind of raged on Jerry a little bit. I've had a one-on-one interview with the man. Like I like him personally, but not like anymore as the Cowboys decision maker for these types of things. Sit back and just be an owner, man. At least, like, get in a real GM.
I think he's been okay at being a GM. I think the contract stuff is way overblown, and Jerry plays it right into his pocket with the views and the attention he gets from the contract disputes or contract delays. But those happen with every team. They're just not as loud and flashy as when the Cowboys do it. And other teams are failing. They're not getting guys like Hassan Reddick on the field. They're not getting contracts done with some of their big stars. So,
we could talk about that more, man. Because we're going to end up talking about that in the offseason, obviously, but just the whole philosophy, even to like the upcoming trade deadline and just how you manage a team and that it's acquiring talent, right? So you're talking about, look, we're not doing everything that we can to get talent in the door, and he's, he may be waiting on these contracts, right? Like, the problem with that is we could have signed Dak like a year early. We could have signed every player that we end up signing a year early, and that will save us money to get that one extra player. Like if you sign Dak early, you can sign one extra player that will help us and contribute on one of the sides of the ball. Same with CD if you had got him done early. So that's what you're missing out there. But then even on top of that, it's like if they save the money, would they go out and get
I don't think so.
somebody that they haven't
I don't
shown
think
that
so.
they would?
No, they haven't done it since. I mean, it's been a long time, but
the fact that we keep having this conversation like every other week, it's like, man, like when's it ever going to change?
The trade deadline's going to come and go, and what move are we going to make? It just shows
we missed out on a ton of free agents
mindset. Yeah,
missed out on a ton of good free agents.
I don't necessarily agree that we would have got somebody that we all would have been like, well, thank God we had, because it's like these guys come and go, and there's so many different ways to acquire players.
Can we do a hypothetical then? Like,
yeah,
for example, we know a hole is a run game because we're 32nd in run, right? So if we get a Derrick Henry, does that even help us actually win? Like, we can be real. We don't have to just say yes. Like, does that actually help us if we have a Derrick Henry? Now, of course, the Ravens are number one run offense, and we're the opposite. But they were number one before Henry.
Derrick Henry or Barry Sanders wasn't going to help us win that Lions game. Like,
exactly,
they pushed us all over the field, everywhere.
The cost was $8 million.
They just really, really, really wanted to. Also, and the Cowboys didn't want any part of that stuff. So, and I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I feel like Sebastian Maniscalco, like, aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed about this stuff?
We would have at least beat the Ravens.
They get paid, so you know.
That's all I can say. We'd have beat the Ravens if they didn't have Henry, and we had him.
Yeah.
Right? You know, there's a lot of hypotheticals, but it is at the end of the day, like you do have to take that into account. Like Derrick Henry does not help us be that much better. So what other signing are we potentially missing out? Like, is there a chance that they're being savvy? The only problem is I just don't see where the savings are helping us elsewhere. That's the problem.
I think
take a shot. We don't know, but take a chance, you know.
In the past 2 years, they have had opportunity to spend money bringing in a legit offensive lineman. It would be nice to see them not fully rely on their own guys at every freaking position, man. It's like they're pretty good at developing Pro Bowl talent, but like because you're not willing to bring in extra guys that are actually good, like when they brought in Stephon Gilmore, that wasn't one of these plugging a hole at the bottom of the roster like they always do. That was a legit starter, and I made a comment that people thought was dumb, but I remember making this comment on Twitter or Reddit or something like, we need more players like Gilmore that are actually top performers that are on short contracts, not just bodies that we sign to plug holes so we can draft replacements. I feel like there's always a big gap in veteran talent that was coming from outside the organization. So you have our top dogs, then you have all these guys that were cheapos, and then you have developing rookies, and you've got no middle class there. You know what I mean? Like there's
Brandon Cooks and Stephon Diggs. They were like the first in a while where you're like, okay, actually they may still have some left in the tank. You know?
Yeah, I like the way you put it with no like sort of middle tier, middle class, like because we're paying all of our Pro Bowl stars, and then you just got Jags, like just another guy, right?
Yeah, pretty brutal. And real quick, you know, look, we are 500. The rest of the division still has a game to play next week. You got the matchup between the Eagles and the Giants. Giants 2-4, Eagles 3-2. They're in New York. Eagles, you know, we probably think they're going to win that. So if we go into week 8 and the Eagles are 4-2, and I'm thinking the Commanders are going to be 5-2 after this. I mean, so I mean we're potentially third in the division because Giants would be losing in that scenario, so they'd be fourth. I mean, can we, you know, get a wild card spot? How are you feeling about that?
I think we're going to have to chase down the Commanders and win. I think there's going to be the South looks really good. North looks pretty good too. So I just think that's where the wild cards will come from, and we'll have to win our division. The Commanders, I mean, it looks like Houston looked last year, breaking out with CJ Stroud. Like they look like they're already a playoff team with this kid, and that's, I mean, it's only 5-6 games, so a lot can happen. I still think the best route is to win the division because I think the Eagles have shown Eagles and Cowboys both look a lot worse than they did past 2 years, I guess you could say. So, I mean, Sirianni is a total loser. Like, see the article that came out about him, like talking trash to the. I mean, who would you rather have? Sirianni talking trash after a win to the stands, or McCarthy telling people to watch out, calling us soft? Like, all right, dude.
I don't know. Don't make me pick between those two candidates. Like,
yeah,
whatever.
A turd sandwich.
Turd sandwich and a giant douche. So, I'm gonna say to your question, Alex, playoffs. Cue it up.
Yeah.
Like, can we really this does not look like a playoff team? Yeah, things have to shake out. We're gonna get guys back. I don't see Dak necessarily playing this bad the rest of the year. I think he does turn it around at some point, and I think him and CeeDee Lamb hopefully after this bye, get something going.
Yeah, we could use some help in the scheme, and I think it's very
Oh,
possible.
my bad. Thanks, Joe.
Just
I'm looking up running back prospects.
But yeah, I think
this off.
But just Dak Prescott,
Jerry Jones,
have to open it up again.
We should be doing that.
They have to open this shit up.
Let me take this off. But yeah, hey, so it's an exciting running back class that we got next year. But what are some needs that we have in general, like not just at running back? Because really with running back, you can get lucky. We've seen the Chiefs, we could have picked up Kareem Hunt. Like there's guys that could potentially fill that need. What are we missing? And we got injuries. We think we're re-signing Micah Parsons, but
so
let's hypothetical. Back. We're at pick 15, right in the middle. What are we looking for now? Yeah, rookie.
I mean, I would take a top receiver there. I don't think anything's stopping us from doing that.
Yeah, and I only ask because if we're taking a receiver with that pick, can we give that first round pick right now for a good receiver? We did that with Amari Cooper that year, and that paid off big for us.
Was that a sarcastic move?
I don't know that.
Y'all are saying this is over. You're 3-3.
No,
we know this
I wouldn't
division.
do it.
Anything can happen. Okay, so no.
Anything can happen. We know that.
You need more defensive line help.
I'm not giving up yet.
I think
y'all are giving up already.
Dude, Hassan Reddick is the guy. Like, if you want to go try to turn the season
in
around,
season, yeah, in season,
he's a total. He's not a good guy. All right, we're not.
He's the last. He's the last talented player available though. That realistically available.
I think that would be a worthy move because I think his value is probably no more than a third because you got to pay him maybe. So I'd give a third for Hassan Reddick.
Okay,
you got to pay him though.
Yeah. I think that's realistic.
You got to trade somebody for that though, like a top tier kind of guy.
Well, he just wants to get paid. He's willing to he's been sitting out this whole time. So it's like the Jets are getting nothing from him and they don't want to pay him. And I think it's just getting worse for their situation wise. So I don't see if I'm the Jets and I just fired Robert Saleh and Rodgers is only playing another 10 games for my franchise. I don't think I think you want picks. So I think that's possible. No. Is that going to put us over the top? I don't know, but it might help us win a division. If that's what your goal is.
It probably, I mean,
we're going to go get smoked in the playoffs. I don't think anyone's saying that we wouldn't, but to win this division is very possible. We're 3-3. Everyone's got to play each other. So there's going to be some lumps along the way. If we can get away with winning 5 out of 6 of those games, couple cupcakes here and there, and then take our beating from everybody else, we can still come out on top in the division.
Who knows?
It doesn't sound fun or exciting. That's for sure.
Maybe we can make a real run at the playoffs and get heartbroken. This is not a Super Bowl team though.
No, it's just because we got undefeated Vikings, right? That's tough. That's a tough spot. And then you've got the Niners. And then Packers. Other than that, it's like, all right, can we beat the new iteration of the Commanders? Like we still have to find that out. But it's really the Packers, like you said. That those are the ones I'm worried about. That's the big.
I'm a little jelly.
What about the Lions? Oh, you're talking about the games left in the season? Okay, yeah, I don't know, but I mean, also I'm worried about the Bucks. I'm worried about the Saints. Saints beat us by 40 points or whatever.
Saints fell off. I'm not too worried about that.
Well, I seen it. Yeah. Just a few weeks ago. So
that's 240 burgers.
And guess what? I haven't seen the Cowboys be good. So I'm like, I don't know. I mean, are we in the top 10 of our conference?
These are just top 5 running backs. I'm only flashing it since I already kind of accidentally flashed it. This is
we are 2-1 against the AFC North. That matters.
Yeah. I think we can squeak out some more wins here, and who knows what'll happen just based on health and injury. But yeah, this AI is not great because I know who some of the top prospects are. I was hoping they just had a nice list, but like Tatari McMillan, I could see him being in that pick 15 range. It was more do we want to wait on a talent or do we want to just go after somebody and actually try to come out of this bye week with something to help us? Because I could see a move happening in a bye week, and who knows, that could propel us.
The move would be to elevate Cook from
is Tolbert? Did Tolbert really solidify himself as a wide receiver too, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Cook's going to have an easy time coming back either. So, it's Tolbert's job to lose, I think, for the rest of the season. I think they're going to take it easy with him. He's going to get a lot of veteran days. He's going to get a reduced role. I've seen this from a million times from McCarthy. Yeah. So they're going to work him in so slow. It's just going to bother you. Just either I don't know. I'm not
wondering
happy
if we
with
can upgrade. I was wondering if we can upgrade it somewhere that would help us, but it's a tough spot with all the injuries on top of it. We might need a reset. I just know that with the Parsons contract, it's just I'm worried what talent we are going to have. We really are going to need those picks, like y'all said, and just load up on young guys and hope to hit here and there.
It screams trading back again because they need so many players. I could totally see them having a guy like a 6'5", 210, 4'4" wide receiver guy sitting right there and being like, well, we need 2 guys instead of this. Like, we totally do, and that's exactly what they're going to do. I can already see it. And we'll get another Guyton and BB.
Well, I think that'll be a good thing eventually for us. Obviously, Guyton being out did affect things. Yeah, he's had a couple of penalties, but overall, I think he's probably won, if I had to estimate, probably 85% of his battles one-on-one when it's one-on-one.
What do you think about Tyler Smith just playing left tackle?
He looked great. He looked fine. He can play anywhere. He can play center.
I mean, it seems like if you're trying to win, maybe they're just trying to develop that left tackle's Guyton more. Sucks that he got injured, but I think you want to get your best guys out there. You put Tyler Smith out on left tackle, and you put one of our competitive interior linemen just there to replace Smith's spot. I mean, it's not. This team is in the middle of the league talent-wise right now. It shows.
Changing 500.
Changing 500.
Come on.
But let's be honest, guys. Like, can you blow that up or zoom it out? Yeah, like let's just. Is there
I can do the whole league? Yeah.
I was saying, are we a top 10 in our conference? I think we're. I mean, yeah, I guess we're top 10 in our conference.
I would say that the AFC is definitely stronger this year than the NFC. So there's that to.
Yeah, they've got 2 teams
kind of hope
5 wins.
In terms of a wild card spot, because there might be wild card spots to go after since Washington's probably going to win the division now.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a pretender. Bills can climb. I think that's their big 4 is Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, and then maybe the Bengals climb out of that despair pit that they're in. They actually might. I can see them doing it. But, yeah, it's Vikings, Lions, and Bucks just put up 51 points in a Packers there. Bears look better than the Cowboys right now, to be honest. Eagles.
Yeah. Speaking of the Bengals, that is the last. The Bengals are the last AFC North team we got to play. So, yeah, I think we're going to go 3-1 against that division. I don't see the Bengals being that great, Alex. To be honest.
Yeah, their defense is real bad.
We'll have Micah by then, and Bland.
Yeah, and Burrow, he doesn't move at all. Or actually, Burrow just had a huge.
Did you see that touchdown run?
Yeah. So never mind. I don't know. Yeah. God. So yeah.
Anyway, should we get into? I guess. Do Do we have any like sort of hot takes for the bye week here?
No, I was thinking we'll save those for the next episode when we're going towards the team. I mean,
We're going
if
full
we're
hot
doing a
take
hot take,
next
I already
week.
said my hot take.
Yeah,
We're going to do a trade.
Full hot takes.
We're doing a trade in this bye week. Would be my hot take if we had one.
Yep. And I think my hot take, my cold take was that there's going to be another game like this, at least maybe 2. I would say the rest of the season.
Yeah,
There's going to be 2 more 40 burgers hung up on your defense, Zimmer.
Well, we don't have to
survive.
We probably don't have to wait too long for that either. Yikes! You know what?
Yikes!
I say we get rolled next 2 weeks, but we beat those Eagles. I see that happening. So I got that to look forward to.
We're 0-3 at home, so that could be our first home win. You know.
Yeah. That sounds cool. It's cool to me. We beat.
I'm glad we're on the road. We are on the road the next 2 games. There's that.
We are undefeated on the road.
Undefeated on the road.
Odds are in our
favor. Team in the league. Road Warrior Cowboys.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a brutal week, but and it sucks going into bye week with that type of L on your shoulders. You know, we got to wear that for like, whole 2 weeks. Come on, man.
This feels like one of those Tony Romo era losses where like there was no chance we were stopping him the whole game. It was up to Romo to just score as many points as possible, and unfortunately he threw some picks. That's exactly what happened.
Well, the one game that comes out to mind is Romo versus Manning when he was on the Broncos.
Well, I mean that was actually good game.
That was a really great game, but that was the type of shootout that we had no defense and everyone scored 40 plus. You know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the type of team that the Cowboys need right now because this defense, the way it's going right now.
Like, we were supposed to be able to score 40, even though we give up 40, and that is not what's happening right now. It's rough.
Do we know? I probably should know this off the top of my head, but how many points have we scored? The biggest points total in one game?
33 or something like that, right? Or am I totally wrong?
Let's see. Yeah, so look at these last games here. This column.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we scored the first game of the season, and it was all downhill from there. And that was the Browns. And the Eagles barely beat the Browns, by the way. I don't know if y'all saw that, but
they got lucky with that too. Jeez.
So just not what you want to see, man.
No, and that was the Browns.
That's what I'm saying.
I know. I just that
we
can't
usually
ignore
have
that
multiple 30-point games
Saints game
by now.
It's pretty brutal. All right, well, who's gonna? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else I got to say about it. It was pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's hard to engage in a positive way. I think the only positives I'm taking away are we know a lot of answers, now, and we'll know a lot more answers very shortly. I think you get blown out in the next 2 weeks and then you can't compete with the Eagles. You're done. So like you can lose these next 2 games if you beat the Eagles and you take care of business against the Commanders and the Giants. If they can't even take care of the Eagles at home and we keep losing home games, I mean, we could lose 5 or 6 in a row easy. Looking at that Giants game, maybe we win that one.
Yeah.
At that point, we are going to see a new head coach. That'll be my hot take. If we can't lose 3 more games in a row and have
it's the Eagles game.
Coach.
I guess I say maybe the 49ers game but that you lose to the Eagles, you lose to the Falcons. Everyone says, well, those are good teams on the road on each coast, kind of rough. You have injuries, but we should have a lot of those players back by that Eagles game. It's a home game. You lose that home game, 4 home games in a row, maybe 4 games in a row, and you're out of it. You're kind of out of it at that point.
Maybe 5 games in a row, and then your 4th home loss. This season only, and then 5 overall. But anyway, Cowboys Nation, we got some work to do.
Yeah. The only person we didn't mention that is on the hot seat is potentially Brian Schottenheimer, right?
Oh man, his seat's so small it doesn't matter if it's hot or cold, dude.
That's what I was wondering. He didn't even make the graphic,
Yeah, who cares?
It's basically
this guy, if you're the OC and you don't call plays, then you're a nobody.
Are you really the OC? You're basically like a
because I'm wondering if
coordinator.
If he's the definition of a yes man.
Yeah, because if McCarthy got fired, then who's stepping up?
The closest yes man, obviously.
Yeah, Jim Carrey need more real men and no yes men. Sorry,
Yep.
Jim Carrey.
Yep.
Well,
All
need
right,
more
guys.
real
Well,
prayers and less prayer hands. All right.
Don't know if there's much else to really cover today. There's plenty to cover in the bye week. We'll have some more of these discussions, preview the 49ers next week. We'll see what
We got
happens.
some good discussions planned next week. We got some good stuff we want to jump into.
Yep. We got some content ready to go and preview the Niners game. Guys, try to enjoy the bye week, recover, rest, do what you can.
Yeah. Get healthy.
We'll try to have a positive attitude. Like we're not giving up with the Cowboys. We love our Cowboys, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, if you see me and Leander cruising around my e-bike, stop me and say what's up. We'll talk about Cowboys. I might be on my e-bike out there cruising around. Just say what's up.
Shout out to the #1 Longhorns, though. Let's see what happens there. This is Longhorns podcast. That might be a little funner.
Okay. Well, that's our silver lining, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, appreciate you guys checking out the Cowboys Uncovered. Like, subscribe, and enjoy the game tonight. And we will see you all next week. Let's go.
Write it, Joel. Write it.